Hi folks, and welcome back to Fishing with Den. Well, back on the tidal river in town today. It's been a long time since I've been here, but basically I'm here to test my new rod. Okay, this is the Nytro StarkX Big River 150 rod. Now the 150 stands for a casting weight of 150 grams. When you think that on your standard commercial you're chucking maybe 20 or 30 gram feeders, 150 kind of puts things into a bit of perspective, doesn't it? So this rod's 14 feet long, comes with two tips, a 3 foot and a 4 foot, and today's the first time I'm going to test it out. I'm going to use this Nytro Horizon 5000 long cast reel, which is a reel I've been using on my Free Spirit CTX power feeder special rods. In fact, I've got one of those down there next to me to show me. And as I say, I literally haven't done anything with this rod at all, apart from just put this reel on. So I'm going to have to set it up in a minute. But basically, 14 foot rod. As I say, it's a heavy duty rod. Now this CTX rod here, this is a 13 foot, as I say, power feeder special. Love this rod, brilliant rods. Free Spirit rods are. But the thing is that this rod is probably just over 200 pounds these days, whereas this rod was less than 100 pounds. So, you know, and I must admit, I wouldn't normally just buy a cheap rod because it was cheap. The reason I've bought this one is because if you watch the channel regularly, you'll know that I've been buying, over the last year, I've had the Nytro Impacts rod, I've had the Nytro all-rounder rod, that was an 11 foot and a 9 foot. I've had the Impacts reel, 4000 size reel. I've had the NTR Mark II reel, both really cheap reels, and in fact the rods are too. And I've been really impressed with them. I mean, they're not perfect by any means, but you know, at those sort of prices, they're perfectly acceptable for what I wanted. So I thought, well, this being less than half the price of the CTX, I'll give it a go. First impressions, yeah, nicely finished off, as you'd expect. The ring size here, first ring, is pretty much identical to the CTX. Hopefully you can see all of this. And also where the reel seat is to the first ring, again, pretty much identical. Further down they do differ a bit, but that's mostly because this one's 14 foot and this one's 13 foot. Now the other big thing I've noticed on this is that this is the sort of standard length handle you get with a feeder rod these days. Brilliant, very, very good. And yes, I must take the plastic off. I know I haven't done that. I will do it. I've had this for about 2-3 years. But this StarkX rod, if you look, the butt section is about 100 millimeters or 4 inches longer. Now, I'm assuming that's basically so that when you're casting, you can give it a good pull with your lower arm. I'm left-handed, remember, so good pull, whack things out. The only thing I'm not sure about is whether it's going to get in the way down here or not, so we won't know until we've tried it. In terms of balance, well, point of balance is sort of there, oops, there, a little bit forward of where I'd normally be, but then it's a 14 foot rod. But then let's have a quick look at the CTX as well, and that's, yeah, pretty much in the same sort of place. So it looks like they're a very sort of similar rod. Now, the reason I bought the StarkX feeder rod, big river feeder rod, is because mostly I fish big rivers, but I also intend to use it on big reservoirs and dams and that sort of thing. So what's going to be the difference? Well, with a dedicated feeder rod, the action is more sort of, it's progressive, but it's more sort of through action through to the middle. Whereas with this StarkX rod, as I understand it from what Tommy Pickering says, the top third is where the action is, because that's where you need it on a river rod. So that's what we're going with. Haven't really got much else to say. Tips wise, as I say, they give you a 3 ounce and a 4 ounce, but you can buy a 5 ounce and you can also buy down to 1.5 ounces. So they've got you covered, and there's a whole range of these rods from 11 feet to 14 feet. And in fact, as I say, this one will cast up to 150 gram feeders, but they also do one which does up to 200 grams. This is 50 to 150. The 11-foot rods and the 12-foot rods, you can get them in sort of lower down the range. So from what I can see, they're pretty much covering the entire range of reasonable sized rivers. They're obviously not designed for sort of tiny little creeks like you've seen me fish lately, but hey, let's get on with it and see how we go. I'll be back in a minute. I'll just turn the action off a second while I get set up, and then we'll come back and give it a try. Okay, that's me all set up. It's taken me a little while to do it. I've got 8-pound line on this, which is 0.28. Obviously, to deal with a big heavy feeder like this, you're going to need some strong line, so don't go too light on these things. I've had a couple of quick casts with a 1-ounce bomb, and it casts pretty well, I mean, as you'd expect. But now what I've done, I've put on a 60-gram feeder, and that, as far as feeders go, is a pretty massive feeder. It's got an enclosed end, because I'm going to be feeding quite a lot of particles, with a plug of ground bait in the bottom. More about the actual fishing in a bit, but in terms of the rod, so far, yeah, pretty good. I just forgot to mention there is a hook keeper down here, right underneath. Handy little place, as you'd expect. Didn't mention the reel seat before. The reel seat appears to be exactly the same reel seat that's on all the other rods, so we'll see how we go. I mean, it's worked great on the other rods, so there's no reason to assume it wouldn't work on this one. Right, without further ado, I'm going to get some bait on, and we're going to see if we can catch a few fish. I'm going to start off with, start off with 4 or 5 pieces of corn on a size 10 hook with a herring. Decent old size, but I've also got some chickpeas, and I've also got some spam, would you believe. Now, I haven't used meat, luncheon meat, for a long time, because normally when I fish meat I either get eels, or I get turtles, or I get both. Anyway, we're going to see how this goes today. What I have done, I've cast out, and I'm fishing at 32 turns on the reel, and I am at the moment clipped up, but I'm going to do my usual thing. I'll unclip shortly because I'll need to, but for the purposes starting off, I'm just going to get some hemp seed, quite a lot of it, some wheat, quite a reasonable amount of it, and some some corn, quite a lot of it. I'm going to put it into this ground bait here. I'm just going to plug the end off, and I'm going to put 6 of these in right at the start. In fact, I don't know why I've just put bait on, because that'll probably be coming off by the time I've done 6 casts with all this. But anyway, first cast with a 60 gram. I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's actually weigh this thing. Hang on. Let me just sort myself out a sec. I'll get a set of scales out and we'll weigh it, see what this actually weighs at the moment. As I say, this rod is designed for up to 150 grams. I'll change this to grams in a sec. Just bear with me while it sets itself up. Grams, and we'll hook it up. Just set it back to 0. There we go. And this weighs, take the strain off Den, you idiot. Right. So this weighs that weighs exactly, I'm sure you can't see that, but that actually weighs exactly 150 grams. Excuse me, frog in my throat. So we're already on the limit for this, but it is my largest feeder and it is pretty massive. So let's see how we go with it. As I say, I'm going to hit the clip first of all, see how this longer handle goes. Yeah, hit the clip. It's not very deep over there. Just empty the feeder out. We'll do it 5 more times and see how we go. Well, that was pretty effortless. I must admit I was a little bit tentative because I wasn't sure about 150 grams, but hey, I coped with it perfectly well. Let's just do the same thing again. I've got plenty of hemp and wheat and all the rest of the stuff with me today. I'm only going to fish for probably 3 hours or so. And technically the tide's coming in, but with all the rain we've had lately, it's still going that way. The tide should be going that way, but it's not. Right, you'll notice I've got my apron on as well, which is what I tend to wear when I'm doing all this messy stuff. Actually, that's a little bit too... There we go, that's a bit better. Right, give this a bit more oomph. That hit it easily, didn't it? And that's way over 3/4 of the way across the river. Okay, that's the first 6 feederfuls in. This will be the 7th one, but this one's got bait on it. And I'll get this one cast out. Let's see how long it takes to get a bite. Casting wise, this is actually no problem. I'm going to take that off the line clip now, like that, and should have a white marker pen on the end of it. Yep, perfect. Right, and then there won't be too much current just at the moment. Just check, make sure we got that one sorted. Yep. So let's see how we get on. Well, no bites on my first cast, although I was stuck behind something there, some sort of obstruction. But yeah, I mean, certainly to start off with, this thing casts really well. I mean, I'm only casting, what is it, 32 turns, so I don't know, 30 metres, something like that. But the thing is that I could cast a lot further if I wanted to, and it did seem, obviously it seems heavy because 150 grams of casting weight is actually heavy. But the rod coped with it perfectly well, and so I'm pretty sure that this would be a good rod for what I want for the rivers, even for decently long chucks further than I'm casting today. But it's just a question now of seeing what it's like with fish and how it sort of copes with the rest of the day. So I think, in terms of specifications and all the rest of it, I'm pretty much done. So if you feel like you want to turn off at this point because you've seen enough, that's great. But I'm going to carry on now and do a bit of fishing and filming. So it would be nice if you stayed with me and watch me hopefully catch a few fish. Although I don't know at this point. The river's had an awful lot of rain in recently, and it's fine down now, but as I say, considering the current is supposed to be going that way because the tide's coming in, and it's still going that way, well, who knows. Anyway, here to enjoy it. And yeah, just wait for the white marker to go, and then there it is right at the end of the rod. Anyone that's fished big rivers like this will know that you allow it to form a bow, but there's actually still very little current to go yet. And just to explain the bow a second, all it means is, put this on to reverse again, all it means is that when you cast out and your feeder hits the bottom, instead of having the line straight back to you, that tends to put a lot of pressure against the water, or resistance against the water. And what that means is that the feeder often moves out of position, or you have to use a bigger feeder. So what you do is you let some line out and you form a sort of a bow, and that creates less resistance. Still see the bites because of the current, but it actually is a lot better way of doing things than trying to go straight out. So that's all I was talking about with that. That's a bite. It's nodded and went. Now, I don't know how well you can see this, but it's like I said, this is bending nicely. Not a big fish, I don't think. Yeah, as Tommy says, in the top third of the rod you've given all the bend. As he said, if you're using the method feeder rod, and they do make a StarkX method feeder rod, I do believe, that would have more of a curve through to the middle area. So yeah, this, yeah, perfectly good. Nice curve, nothing flat spotted. Just a nice continuous curve and plenty of power. So, there are your fish. Ooh. First bite, and that was after about 20 minutes. This is a bit unusual because it's so long, but maybe it's just me just needing to get used to it. Because as you know, I tend to tuck the butt into my hip here because dodgy arthritis and all the rest of it, and it just helps me with getting fish in. But yeah, can't argue with that, especially at half the price of the Free Spirit, the CTX. Probably less than half price actually. Don't get me wrong, I love the CTX, the Free Spirit, but by the time I've paid the 200 quid or so, £200, and then because I live in Oz, the postage, that's crippling as well, so you could be getting closer to £300 by the time I've got the thing out here. And as it happens, there's one stockist of Nytro rods over here who I can do postage, online, but also it's a lot cheaper. Where am I going? What am I doing? You idiot. That's from not concentrating, Den. But don't these fish fight, eh? Come on. There we are. Must concentrate more. Especially as I'm getting older now. I was 70 the other day. That's probably, I don't know, £4 or so. Maybe 5. But yeah, just want to put him back. You've all seen fish that size before. So yeah, good start. Get back out there and see what else we can catch. I just poured myself a cup of tea out as well. Probably been fishing about 20 minutes, which is about what you'd expect for these fish to show up. But it's a lot shallower over there than I first thought. Most of the waters I fish like this, when they're this wide, are usually anything between 14 to 20 feet deep sort of thing, sometimes even deeper. But this one is where I'm fishing now. It's on a sweep of a bend. You can't see it, I know, but it is on the sweep of a bend. And just down below me here, there's usually a load of dogs because it's an off-leash dog area. And at low tide, it used to be that would actually dry up altogether. So I've probably only got maximum 4 or 5 feet kind of thing out there at the moment. A bit more as the tide comes in. But yeah, there's plenty of fish in here. I've had them up to £20 here before. Give this another go. As I say, all I'm doing is waiting for that white marker on the line to show itself when I cast. And like that. And then just, that'll be at the end of the rod tip now. I've done a video on this, I'm sure, so if I have, I'll put a link up above so you can see what I'm talking about. I did cast that a bit wrong, by the way. It didn't kind of go in like I wanted. It went in with too much of a spladoosh, but I'll get used to it. Not sure about the whole extra length on the rod butt there. I must admit, it's not supposed to be a long distance rod, it's a heavy feeder rod, and yes, it's probably there because you've got to get the lever from the lower arm going, but for the CTX at 4 inches shorter, you know, it's perfectly good as far as I'm concerned for getting similar distances. But it's one of those things I'll probably get used to. But I do like the rod, don't get me wrong. Oh, bit of a nod. I think that's a bite. Yay. I'm beginning to wonder if we're going to get a bite. We're probably 45 minutes in. And did that come off? Yeah, it came off. But we've got a bite anyway. Feel a bit happier now. As I say, normally by this point on this river I'd have had 2 or 3 fish, but it is what it is. Certainly as far as the tip went there, I could see the bite perfectly well, but then this is carp fishing, so kind of what do you expect? Carp are carp, and when they feel resistance they'll pull against it. Anyway, wind's getting up a bit, so I'll give this another hour or two maybe, see how we go. Casting wise, I've got no complaints whatsoever at this point. There we go. Exactly where I needed to go. I won't say effortless, because there is some effort behind chucking a 150 gram feeder, but as far as the rod goes, it performed really well. The trouble is, wind's now getting really strong and making it difficult to do things correctly. It's not so much that it's going one way, it's going all sorts of directions, it's strong in all of them. That's got to be a bite. Certainly does. That literally, I was just trimming the tip and it went round. That's a better fish. Ooh. Wow. I saw that the clutch didn't go last time when I was catching that fish. This time it is, so I'm tightening down a bit. Just hope there's not too many snags over there. Used to be that there were a lot of supermarket trolleys over there from the kids coming down the hill and dump them in the river at the end. But this is not a 4-pounder. Nice progressive bend. It's actually obviously good bend at the top, slightly less bend here as it progresses and gets more power going in. But there is a bend all the way down. Like I said, it's not going to be like a method feeder rod where it bends in more of a sort of a curve. It's more the tip end. It's like Tommy Pickering said. He's way off up there, going back towards. Took some line, didn't he? He's probably not all that big actually. Just a question of getting out from that tree now. The trouble with these sandy banks is the trees kind of fall in and create all sorts of underwater obstructions. I'm not actually sure where I'm actually at the moment. Oh, yanking me out into that tree. And a bend in this. It's good though, lots of power. Oh, let's see if we can do this. Oh dear, that's a decent fish. I've actually got some sort of rubbish attached which is coming off now, but yeah, this extra long butt section for me with the arthritis and also a problem with my shoulder at the moment isn't as good as I would have said the CTX would have been, but I mean that's just me being old and past it really. I'm sure there's a good technical reason for them having that. Oops, having that. There we go. Right, what have we got here? Well, not massive. It's that very short and thick fish. Hooked in the bottom lip. Barbless hook, but trying to get it out is going to be a bit of an issue because I'm left-handed and it's right in the corner. Yep, gonna need a disgorger. It's amazing how barbless hooks can get stuck in that much. Yeah, just get the angle right and you cracked it. Let's put this down out of the way. As I say, not a huge fish, but massive amounts of power and extremely thick. It's probably, I'm not going to try and get it out, but it's probably in the region of 7 pounds or so, but really thick and short. Still, at least we put the rod through its paces, didn't we? Whew. Okay, enjoyed that. literally. That happened, what, seconds after it went in? Literally seconds. Oh, and that's a bite. Yeah. That was pretty much straight away, wasn't it? Taking down on the clutch. Not a big fish this time, I don't think. Yeah, big splashes.
Oh, that's coming in.
Come on, Ben. Sort yourself out. Seems like the clutch on this reel. Not too aggressive, but nice. There we go. But that was again straight in, straight round. So I'm an hour in. As I say, it might need to be a short session now, but certainly looking at the bend in this rod and the way it's playing it, more than happy with that.
You got a carp.
Yeah, it's a carp.
Big one?
Not really.
Yeah, same size I thought.
Yeah, we're probably going to end up with a conversation. I'll give it another couple of goes and see what happens before we call it quits. But I'd like to catch a few more now. You always like to catch a few more, don't you? There we go. Cool. Well, have they turned up? Is that what has happened after an hour?
Is that 40? Maybe 50? Yeah.
Splodoosh. You probably can't hear this because the microphone is pretty sort of directional. Hell of a splash going in when they jump off the swing. That's what you get when you come fishing to a river in town, I suppose. It may just be that they're bunking off school at lunchtime. So we'll give it a bit and see what happens. Right, well, shame about that, I was enjoying this. Starting to anyway. That's a nibble. Well, it seems as put them in, the feeder's in, they're going round now, so. Is this a big one or not? Seems to be a steady sort of a pull. Rob's doing well again. It's just kind of holding and coming towards me, but I'm kind of just cranking him in. There we go. Sorry, were you talking to me?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I was talking to the camera.
Hey?
I've got a YouTube channel, I was talking to the camera.
Oh, yeah?
This is about 4, I think, and I've lost a couple.
Yeah, I got one down there before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Fight well, don't they?
Another one. Yeah, I'll call back.
Right. Come on, fish. Unfortunately, you do tend to get audiences down here. And towards that tree. Not big. Not big at all. In fact, very small. Small one, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fight though. Cool. Right, well, that's another one. Not bad so far. Just corn.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's Seems like those young fellas seem to want to have a chat, making a bit of noise, and they are doing some swearing. So, as I say, this channel's for all ages. So I think for the purposes of the video, we'll call it quits at that. What do I think of the rod? Well, yeah, as with all the Nytro tackle I've had so far, it does exactly what it's designed to do, and it does it well. And it does it half the price or even less than a lot of the other good stuff. Now, if you'd asked me before I bought this rod which rod I'd want to buy, it would always be the Free Spirit CTX, because they're a brilliant rod. But I have to say, as I said earlier on, this rod, less than half the price, more than happy with that, does the job really well. Why pay a lot more when you don't need to? So anyway, as far as I'm concerned, it's another thumbs up for Nytro on this rod. This is the StarkX Big River 150, and I'd recommend it to anyone who's fishing the kind of rivers I do. Anyway, that's it for another one, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you did, give me a click on the like button, please. YouTube seems to like that, and so do I. And of course, I also like when you subscribe, that's even better. But that's it for another one, guys. See you next time.